Hey y'all, it's Amanda, and today we're going to be talking about the truth about growing zinnias, what no one tells you. Because for me, I thought zinnias were easy until they weren't. All right, so I've been growing zinnias for well over a decade, and I definitely learned a lot about them. And pretty much when I get asked questions about zinnias, it is from total and absolute failure on the zinnias. And so I wanted to address that today because I think quite frequently people say that zinnias are super easy. So zinnias are labeled beginner friendly, they're labeled fast growing, they're labeled foolproof. But there are a few things about zinnias that no one really tells you. And these are usually the reasons why they flop, why they get mildew, and just stop performing. So let's talk about the real truth about zinnias. Okay, we're going to be covering 8 different truths about zinnias. The first truth is zinnias are easy if you respect the heat. The next truth is why they flop. The next truth is why spacing matters more than people think. Number 4 is why they get powdery mildew. Number 5, they don't like being babied. Number 6, the only thing that makes them produce like crazy. Number 7, they look awkward before they look amazing. And number 8, succession planting is the real secret. So giving you these will allow you to just go ahead and flip to wherever you need in this video, whatever issue you're dealing with, if you don't want to listen to the entire thing. Okay, let's start with number 1. Zinnias are easy if you respect the heat. So things we want to learn about zinnias. Zinnias are summer flowers. They're not spring flowers. They're not fall flowers. They are summer flowers. They want warm soil of 70 to 80 degrees to germinate well. They do have to have very warm soil to even get started with germination. A cool spring soil makes them slow and weak. So I run into a lot of people who start them way too early, who start them when it's way too cold outside, and they really are more susceptible to disease if you start them in colder soil. And early planting rarely outperforms later planting. So keep that in mind. You can even do a test run in your garden. Do an early planting of zinnias and then actually wait till your soil reaches 70 to 80 degrees and do a planting there. I can guarantee you those early planting ones will eventually be overtaken by the later planted ones. Zinnias don't want April. They want June energy. They want that hot summer heat, and that's when they really thrive. All right, truth number 2, why they flop. And this is a big one. I would think that's about one of the number one things, that and powdery mildew. I get questions about in regards to zinnia. Why are they flopping? So let's learn a little bit about zinnias in regards to that. Zinnias flop because of weak light as seedlings. So if they're not getting enough light as seedlings, they're going to grow thin and long and awkward, and they're going to be a weak plant to begin with. That's why it's super important not to put zinnias out in early spring. Really wait till the very end of spring, really going into summer to put your zinnias out. The days are longer, it's hotter, they're going to grow better. Zinnias often flop from overcrowding as well, and I am definitely guilty of overcrowding zinnias. They really need a good 12 to 18 inches between each plant. They also flop because they have too much nitrogen in the soil. The nitrogen really focuses on that really green growth and has them grow a little bit too quickly, so they don't have as strong of stems. They also flop from not cutting early, and we're going to talk about that later on in this video. Cutting early is really how you get nice strong plants. If you just throw them in and let them go and they don't get cut at all, they are going to be very top heavy plants. And tall varieties without strong branching are most likely to flop. So when we talk about the Benary's giants, they have very strong branching. They get very tall at the top. And so if you don't cut them earlier on, or if you don't support them through the process, they are more likely to flop. When zinnias fall over, it's usually not wind. It's the structure of the plant. It's the plant hasn't been pruned correctly, or the plant has not been supported correctly. So a few things to remember: strong sun equals thick stems, so keep that in mind. Proper spacing equals sturdy growth. And early cutting forces branching. So those are 3 big things to create nice strong plants that are less likely to flop. Okay, truth number 3, Why spacing matters more than people think. So what we want to learn about this is crowding. So overcrowding and crowding zinnias. So crowding zinnias reduces airflow, and reduced airflow leads to disease. Overcrowding encourages mildew, and mildew is one of the biggest issues that people have with their zinnias in regards to disease. If you don't have good airflow, if it's overcrowded, you're definitely going to get powdery mildew. Crowding also creates tall, weak stems because they're fighting for the light. They're trying to top the next one over them so that they can reach the light, and that makes their stems grow very fast and grow very thin. So seed packets often suggest minimum spacing, not ideal spacing. So even if the seed packet is like, 12 inches, you might want to expand that just a little bit more, give it a little bit more space, and really think of each zinnia plant as its own entity. It needs its own space to work within without necessarily touching the ones beside it. If your zinnias look like a jungle, they're not thriving. They're competing. They're competing for nutrients. They're competing for water. They're competing for sunlight. They're competing for airflow. If it's a massive jungle, you're really not having a strong, beautiful, thriving zinnia plant. So in regards to that, in regards to spacing and overcrowding, be ruthless when thinning. Really get in there, get rid of anything that looks weak, get rid of anything that's too close, and pick some singular seedlings that are strong and have lots of space around them. Airflow is preventative medicine. It is so important, and it's really hard to correct powdery mildew later on. So make sure you prevent instead of fixing. So airflow is the preventative medicine so that you don't get as much powdery mildew or disease. All right, number 4 on the truths is why they get powdery mildew, especially in Texas. We get a lot of powdery mildew on our zinnias here in Texas. So powdery mildew is not random. It's there for a reason, and let's talk about that. So powdery mildew is caused by humid nights, which we have that here in Texas, check. Hot days, we have that here in Texas, check. Poor airflow, one of the few ways that you can combat powdery mildew. If you have poor airflow, it's definitely going to create a buildup of humidity and definitely going to be leading towards powdery mildew. Overcrowding also is a cause of powdery mildew, and water on the foliage, consistently on the foliage, also creates powdery mildew. So in Texas heat, mildew isn't a surprise, it's predictable, it's inevitable. So we try to do a lot of things to prevent it as long as possible so that when it does occur, that perhaps it's not as intense as it could be. So a few important nuances to remember in regards to powdery mildew and zinnias. Full sun helps. As much sun as possible helps. That sun helps dry out the foliage. It helps dry out the humid space so that we can prevent powdery mildew. Bottom watering helps. I bottom water all my zinnias. Of course, I cannot control the rain, which is also why zinnias don't typically thrive in the spring here for me because it's so rainy. They do better once we get to the summer. Wider spacing helps, spreading out so you can have better airflow throughout the entire plant. And resistant varieties help. There are a few resistant varieties of zinnias that are a little more resistant to powdery mildew than others. Okay, truth number 5 about zinnias, they don't like to be babied. They just want to be left alone. They really want to be left alone. So what we want to learn in regards to this, they prefer direct sowing. They don't actually like to be started inside and then transplanted. They're not fans of transplanting. Direct sowing works best. You need to plan out your direct sowing. You need to look at the temperature of your soil and have a good understanding of when your soil is between 70 and 80 degrees in order for those seeds to be able to germinate. They don't love transplanting. Now, I have started a lot of zinnias inside and then transplanted them outside. It can work. They don't love it. It's better to direct sow. They don't want heavy fertilizing, so I typically just do compost or an initial biotone fertilizer or something like that in my beds, and then I really don't address that again with my zinnias. I really just leave them for the season, and that tends to be enough for them. Too much nitrogen equals leaves, not flowers, and it can create so that the plant gets really top heavy and falls over. So really backing out on a heavy nitrogen fertilizer is the best way to go. Okay, truth number 6, the one thing that makes them produce like crazy. And if you want a ton of zinnias, This is the number one thing you need to do in order to have tons and tons of flowers. You need to cut them early. Super important. They have to be pruned earlier on to encourage branching. So you want to cut them early, prune them early when they're about that, 8 to 12 inch range is a really good time to go ahead and prune them. Not when they're fully mature, not when they're perfect. All right, really do it earlier on if you want to be able to get a whole lot of zinnias in order to harvest and have as cut flowers. So what does early cutting do for a zinnia? It forces branching. A branching is instead of one stem, you cut it and it forces it into two stems. So it encourages branching, more flowers in the end. Early cutting also creates multiple stems. We want multiple stems, especially if you're harvesting zinnias for cut flowers. And early cutting doubles or triples bloom production easily. So literally cutting is the number one thing that you can do in order to produce a lot of zinnias. The moment you're brave enough to cut that first bloom early on, everything changes and you are on the right direction. So I know it's hard to resist just letting that first bloom go ahead and bloom. Don't do it. Let it go ahead and cut it, force it to branch, and let's move on to amazing zinnias later on down the line. So how do we cut early on? The first bloom, you need to cut it low. You need to cut it so the plant is about 8 to 10 inches tall. You need to leave a couple of sets of leaves on below it and cut right above a set of leaves, and that will force it to branch. It forces side shoots, and we want the side shoots. And even as those side shoots go on, you can prune those side shoots as well and force those side shoots to branch as well. And then also you're going to get more blooms and you're going to get stronger plants. A plant that grows just straight up is going to be wonky and it's going to struggle. One that has branching is going to be a stronger plant over time and produce more blooms. Okay, truth number 7. Zinnias are going to look awkward before they look amazing. And that's where all that pruning comes in, the awkwardness of it. You're like, did I just destroy my plant? It doesn't look not that great until they look amazing. So do keep that in mind. What we want to learn from this is early growth can be uneven, especially if we're pruning. But we're pruning for particular reasons so that we can have beautiful zinnias later on. When they're looking awkward, the first blooms may appear smaller, and then as the plant grows and matures, it has a stronger root section, then it's going to produce larger, bigger blooms. And also lower leaves often will yellow, and that's okay. I just go ahead and pull them off, which is a lot easier when you've got your plants spaced out and you've got room and good airflow in between them. So those ones that look nasty at the bottom, I just pull those out and discard them. Okay, truth number 8, the last one, succession planting is the real secret. All right, if you want zinnias that are producing throughout the entire season, succession planting is definitely a way to go. So what we want to learn, zinnias are annuals, so they're not going to make it through frost, freezes, cool weather, anything like that. So if you want to get them producing longer, you got to succession plant them. They don't last forever. You want to replant every 3 to 4 weeks. So let's say you have a 4-foot by 8-foot bed. All right, go ahead and plant the first round of zinnias in maybe a third of the bed. Plant those. And then 3 to 4 weeks later, plant another third of the bed. And then 3 to 4 weeks later, plant the last third of the bed. And then you are going to have blooms throughout the entire season. So don't plant the whole bed at once if you want to have blooms for longer. Okay, let's talk about a few common mistakes in regards to zinnias, and I think that this is key. Planting too early, if it's too cold outside, planting too early is not going to create good plants. Overwatering, definitely an issue. If you're going into rainy season, you might want to wait till after to plant your zinnias. Overcrowding, making sure you have really good airflow is key. Fertilizing too heavy is a massive issue, so really lay off on the fertilizer. Waiting too long to cut. Remember, we want to cut earlier on in the life of these plants in order to have tons of blooms later on. And ignoring airflow. So important. Airflow is everything you're going to need to prevent powdery mildew. Okay, so zinnias are easy once you understand what they actually want, and that is key. They want heat. They want sun, they want air, and a brave gardener with a pair of pruners. All right, so if you've struggled with zinnias before, you are not alone. I think a lot of times when we're looking on social media and YouTube and the internet, we're like, everybody's growing these beautiful zinnias. Why? It's hard for me. I'm struggling. You're not alone. People just don't talk about talk about it as much as they should. I have struggled with zinnias at different points in my gardening career. But once you understand those few truths that we just talked about, once you understand what the needs of the zinnias are, they will become one of the most rewarding flowers that you can grow. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, just going through some of the truths about zinnias. I hope some of these, even if just one of them hit for you, it gives you an idea, a light bulb on how you can make a change to have better zinnia production. I really hope that that has happened for at least a few of y'all. I love zinnias, but I definitely have met people along the way who have struggled. So I really wanted to get the truth about zinnias out there for you. So let me know, what's your biggest zinnia frustration? Drop that comment down below. Also, if you are someone who's really great at zinnias, drop and tell us why zinnias do well in your area. Tell us your area too, because that also makes a massive difference. Okay, and I will be having a video coming up very soon where I will be showing how to direct sow zinnias for maximum success. So for me, that most likely is going to be at the end of April, going into May, when I will be sowing my zinnias, as long as my forecast is for warmer weather. But I will be doing that, so make sure you follow along so you can catch those zinnia videos along the way. All right, you all, and if you're like me and you're on a gardening journey and you would like to do that with some gardening friends, be sure to check out my Patreon community. The link is in the video description below. It is a great group of people who like to talk about gardening. You can certainly join the free group, but if you decide to become a certified Mad Gardener, you get access to our lives. We just had one a few days ago and it was wonderful. Had a great time chatting. You also get access to exclusive videos only available on Patreon, as well as group chats, photo sharing, and direct messaging to me for any gardening questions you might have. All right, you all, as always, she's a Mad Gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.